Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Pooja Sood, your host for this session, and I'm genuinely excited about what we have lined up for you today. We are here to talk about something that every clinical trial team has felt, which is the pain of running your study across disconnected systems. CTMS in one corner, trial finance in another, your eTMF somewhere else entirely. And today we are going to show you what it looks like when all of that finally comes together, unified, intelligent, and ready for 2026. This session is called the Connected Clinical Trial, AI-driven CTMS, CTFM, and eTFM workflows. And the key word there is connected, not AI bolted on top of broken data, not three systems pretending to talk to each other. One platform, one data model, and embedded AI agents that actually know the context of your trial. Now, before we get going, a quick housekeeping note. Firstly, this session is being recorded. So if a colleague couldn't make it or you would want to revisit something from the demo later, we'll be sending the recording to everyone who registered and posting it on our website. All participants are muted to keep the audio clean. So please use the Q&A panel for any questions that come up as we go. We have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, and we want to make sure we get as many of your questions as possible. And if you have any technical issues, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and our team will jump in promptly to help you out. So here's what we have in store for you today. We'll kick things off with introductions, who we are and what CloudBiz does. From there, we'll get into the real meat of it, which is the fragmentation problem that so many clinical trial teams are living with right now, and why 2026 is actually a pivotal moment to act. We'll then get into the AI conversation and specifically the difference between AI that's truly built in versus AI that's just bolted on top of broken data. The distinction matters more than you think. And then we'll walk you through how AI agents work across the full trial lifecycle before bringing it into a live demo. Finally, we'll close out with a Q&A, so make sure your questions are ready. Now let's meet the speakers joining us today. First, joining me from the product team is Ved. Ved is a product manager and the person who lives and breathes a unified platform every single day. Ved, great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Pooja. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. And then we have Christopher Rowland on the line. Chris leads our eClinical solutions practice here and brings deep real-world experience in how clinical teams actually work and what they need AI to do for them. Chris, so glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here and glad to be presenting today.
Fantastic. Okay, now for those of us who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Cloudbase is one of the fastest growing providers of AI-enabled eClinical solutions. Our platform is 100% cloud native, built for scalability and modularity, so it can flex to your organization's specific needs, whether you're a Fortune 500 leader or an agile startup moving fast to get therapies to market. A comprehensive suite covers the full clinical spectrum, which is the CTMS, CTFM, EDC, eTMF, and safety and pharmacovigilance. And through our AI Innovation Hub, we embedded advanced intelligence directly into the trial lifecycle, automating complex tasks and sharpening decision making at every stage. You'll be seeing some of that in action today. We launched our AI eTMF agent to automate document filing, metadata capture, and quality checks, keeping your trial continuously inspection ready. We've also brought AI into CTMS monitoring, and our Clin Translate AI provides a seamless, secure translation layer built specifically for clinical terminologies across global studies. We are ISO 9001 and 27001 certified and fully compliant with FDA 21 CFR Part 11, GCP, and HIPAA. Cloudbase is also recognized in the Everest Group Peak Metrics as a major contender for both CTMS and EDC. We are headquartered in Chicago with our offices in Toronto and Bengaluru, India. We are global and we are here around the clock. Now, without further ado, I'll hand over to Chris.
Yeah, thank you for that great introduction, Pooja. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take a few slides to discuss the current landscape of eClinical solutions and AI technology. beginning with the current state and what we like to call the fragmentation tax, or the cost of having multiple systems that are segmented and information not being shared. This process requires individuals to manually go in and input the same information multiple times across multiple platforms like in CTMS, eTMF, and EDC. This predictably leads to more errors when users forget to put information in across all platforms, misremember how the system functions and what they need to do, or simply incorrectly translate it from in one particular location. Not only does this waste time and energy, it can also be costly in other ways. On this slide are just 3 statistics I wanted to share to highlight the cost. You can see that startup times are on average 8 months, partly because of the process of getting a study going is very manual and unintuitive on the software side. Additionally, 80% of sites report some form of delay on payments, and this negatively impacts them, which can be attributed to the manual process required to review invoices, visits, and then distribute payments, information housed in different locations. Lastly, and perhaps one of the biggest, is 1 in 10 documents being filed incorrectly in the eTMF, which has multiple downsides itself, such as minor pain points like just creating confusion in the team when trying to find documents, but can lead to bigger issues like findings during an audit. So, now that we've looked at the current landscape, we can discuss how we translate present issues into future solutions. Thankfully, we have a roadmap here, along with guidance from organizations like the FDA. So we can begin by using ICH E6 guidelines to ensure our studies, eTMF, and other solutions are inspection ready at all times. This reduces the risk of audit findings, but will also make navigating systems like the eTMF easier. We can move to more unified platforms that communicate with each other, share information, and by extension, reduce errors and redundant processes. This also solves issues like broken or overlapping audit trails, where you have to follow them in multiple systems and they're segmented. Once these 2 steps are completed, we can utilize FDA guidelines on AI to improve efficiency further. With CTMS, eTMF, EDC, and other solutions all connected, with information being shared, it's the perfect environment for an AI solution to help automate processes, create reports, and provide assistance with specific tasks. So now that we have an idea of the current state of unified solutions coupled with AI and a roadmap to the future, let's talk about adoption rates and risk. At present, there's only an 11% adoption rate for unified eClinical platforms with AI, and 37% of companies report not using AI at all. And this may be due to stigma. 66% of companies reported a lack of trust with AI and language models. And while some of the skepticism is good and healthy, some is unfounded. Separating fact from fiction is important when successfully adopting new tools. So when we look at those who have adopted, we found that on average, 18% cycle time reduction overall across the board, but 68% in specific applications. So there's a wide ranging use case for these solutions with minimal impacts across the board and major impacts in others. Questioning how and when we use AI in solutions is the first step to using it efficiently and in the right application. From this high-level overview, we can see that unified eClinical platforms offer a wide range of benefits for clinical trials, but combined with thoughtful, strategic utilization of AI, those benefits grow even more. In short, a unified solution is the key as it allows AI to tap into connected, governed data for full effect and having numerous downstream benefits for teams, timelines, audits, and more. This leads us to an important distinction in AI and unified solutions. Is this a key design component built into the platform or an afterthought that was bolted onto data solutions? This distinction further highlights how large of an untapped potential adoption has. A unified solution with built-in AI tools is a key component to success. It ensures AI tools work off the latest, most up-to-date information and data, work seamlessly with humans and employees and other standard processes, and provide better human-in-the-loop oversight, not only helping them complete tasks, but reduce error rates too. They also provide a full view solution when configured this way, where they can accurately report on or know about the entire study, preventing siloing and future segmentations like I talked about in earlier slides. With all that said, I'm now going to hand off the presentation to Ved to discuss CloudBiz's unified eClinical platform and our built-in AI agents.
Thank you, Christopher. That was wonderful. And thank you for so wonderful thoughts. All right, so let me show you the CloudBiz approach and how we think about this differently. So as Christopher was talking about and bringing it to cloud-based perspective, every module you see here, CTMS, CTFM, eTMF, and even beyond that, EDC, safety, every agent, every record is unified on one data model built on Salesforce. And I want to be very specific about what that means. At the bottom, you see the Salesforce platform, what we have built on. This gives us enterprise security, scalability, and the agent force runtime for our AI agents. And on top of that, one data model. These are not three databases sitting in siloed, synced by integration or exports. This is one platform, one shared instance. And let's say when a visit plan gets created in CTMS, CTFM, which is our financial module, sees it immediately, as well as EDC as well. And then when a visit completion happens at EDC, CTMS knows it right away in real time. CTFM, which is financial module, again knows it in real time to process payments for the same site visit. Another example is when an adverse event form is raised at an EDC, CTMS gets updated with the adverse event record, as well as the safety PV system finds out there has been a safety adverse event raised, as well as eTMF tracks the CRF in real time as well. So there's no sync job running overnight. There's no uploading or CSV needed. It's all working in real time without a need of even an integration, because all of this is in the same platform. And then the AI agent layer, as you can see, today we're going to show you 5 agents, but we have a lot more in the system, all powered by Agentforce, all operating on the same data, all have human in the loop control. And the reason these AI agents can actually be trusted is because they're reading from one source of truth, not pulling from 3 different systems, hoping data matches. And that's the architecture we will dwell more on today. So this is a vendor neutral checklist. If the answer to any of this is no, AI is going to struggle to deliver the real value. Number one is the data unified? So as we have said this, I mean, almost 5 times now, we believe in one data model across all of these different modules: CTMS, CTFM, eTMF, EDC, etc. Not 3 databases bridged by exports. If your AI is reading from disconnected data, you are going to get disconnected answers. Number 2 is agent in the workflow? So acting on live governed data inside the system, and not just data, as we mentioned, sitting in siloed system is very important. If you have to copy data out, ask an AI, and then copy the answer back, that is not AI in the workflow, and that's just AI with extra steps. Number 3, and very important for compliance perspective, and so is number 4, is there human in the loop? So no action taken without human review or approval is a compliance risk. And in a regulatory environment, this isn't optional. As I think every one of you know here, your agent should just propose and somebody should approve and then move it to the next phase. And then number 4 is audit trail. So every action should be logged for 21 CFR Part 11 and ICH E6 R3 compliance perspective. Sorry, if you can't answer who did what, when, and why for every AI action, there's a big compliance gap. And this is not an exhaustive checklist by any means, but this is just a starting point on how to evaluate AI system, not just our AI solutions, but any AI solutions across the board. Put your next slide, and with that, I think I can start presenting because we will be heading into the live demo. Okay, so we've been talking about disconnected systems and why AI on top of disconnected system doesn't really work. Now let me show you what it actually means. So I'm going to walk you through our 3 primary systems: CTMS, CTFM, eTMF, very high level, and follow through some of the workflows, such as creating a visit plan from protocol, and then following the visit plan and creating payments out of it, and so forth. And then we'll also take a look at eTMF, and we'll also get a chance to look at some of the AI agents working throughout the system. So first thing first, on the top left, when you log in, this is our CTMS. You would see a 9 dot. This is where you can switch between different modules. So for example, EC, eTMF, CTFM, which is, as I mentioned, a financial module, safety PV, all under one platform and one login. And these platforms share data model. So a study you create in CTMS, which is right here, is the same study you would see in eTMF, and the same study in CTFM. So there's no syncing needed. It's not automatically synced. No integration headache needed here. And the big question you might have is what about access and security? So it's still maintained as per your role, your profile. So a finance team can only access CTFM if that's your restriction that you have to put in place, or CRA can only see CTMS, but it's just sitting on the same foundation. So it's all synced very seamlessly. So when you log in, let's say in this case of CTMS, you're greeted by this dashboard. This is real-time study by status, monitoring report summaries, protocol deviation summary, all of that, what you care about is on the screen. Now, every role gets its own view. So project manager would see milestones, CRA would see monitoring schedule reports, a medical monitor might see a safety flag reports. So nobody's really drowning in data they don't care about. These are not static. You can click through it, you can navigate it, you can drill down the data, and let's say you want to go to the site and see what exactly are the planned sites, you can drill down within this report as well. So I'm going to go to a clinical study now. Let me open up this one. All right. This is our study page, a compact layout on the top, which gives you some key information about the study, visual ribbon, which tells you where the study is at right now, which is in enrolling phase. And then when you scroll down, you would see some details about a study, NCD number, phase, therapeutic area, all at glance. So everything you need as to start a study could be captured in detail and design phase. Design is where you would store all your protocol. Your versions are tracked here, version 1, version 2. As your protocol get amended, you can track all the protocol versions here. And then visit plan is what forms the backbone of CTMS, and downstream that to CTFM and EDC, and so is study arm. Now, let me talk about a challenge that every study team faces, and I'm going to come here for that. Building a visit plan from protocol is first topic I want to talk about in terms of problem solving. We normally deal with like 200 pages PDF when it comes to a protocol. You're manually extracting every visit, every procedure, every window, and keying it into system. Sometimes we have heard that's days of work. And it's not just about time. If you get a visit window wrong or miss a procedure, everything downstream is affected. As I mentioned, that visit plan created here downstream into CTFM for site subject cost, as well as EDC for CRF. So any mistake right now could cost a lot downstream. And that's something we wanted to talk about and something we wanted to solve as a problem as well. So I'm going to bring in our first agent, which is called protocol intelligence agent. So before I run this, let me show you what we were working with. We have a protocol in this study. It is right here. This is protocol that's been uploaded to the specific study, and I actually have a PDF of it open on the right. And this protocol has this visit plan, which has not yet been built in the system. All we have done is uploaded this protocol to this study. Now, let me ask this agent to create visit plan study on the latest protocol. So what it's doing is it's reading right now through the protocol, finding the schedule of activities, identifying the study arms, extracting every visit and its window, every procedure, which we just saw here. It's reading through this whole 200 or large document that we are dealing with, and then again like building the whole visit plan study arms. So right now it's just analyzing the protocol document. It takes a few seconds. And again, it's going to create the actual record in the system, not just a document or suggestion, actual structured data. So right now, as you see, 2 study arms were created, 2 visit plans were created for each study arms is right here. And all I have to do is just refresh this page and go back to design. And the agent has created 2 visit plan, right, as I mentioned, and 2 study arms along with different data points. I can click on the first visit just to show you how it deals with any complexity. So as you can see, this is a complete visit matrix that it has created. procedures down the left, right here, widgets on the top, and then these are live records. As you can see, it has very accurately input all the visits, procedures that was in this visit plan, which was 9 visits, and those 9 visits are right here. One key detail, as I mentioned, that it's in the draft mode. There is always a human intervention needed here just to make sure everything is accurate. So instead of building it from the scratch, all you're doing is the system creates it for you, but then you review it. Let's say this visit is not accurate by any chance, you can delete it or edit it, or this visit is not accurate, you can delete or edit, or you can add further visits or procedures as you review this. So let's say what happens in the future if there's a protocol amendment. You don't have to again reinvent the wheel, again create these visits. All you have to do is just upload a new protocol version here. As you saw my prompt, I mentioned the latest protocols. The system will identify what the latest protocol is, and then accordingly update or upversion this visit plan instead of creating it from the scratch. So we have versions here, and as the protocol amendment happens, the system will automatically upversion the visit plan if there is a change in the new protocol. So it also is intelligent to identify if that's needed or not needed at all. So this agent can also is not limited to just just being a visit plan builder. It can also act as a Q&A assistant for your protocol. For example, I can ask, what are the inclusion area for this study? I did messed up the study spelling. So it's gonna analyze the protocol and find out the inclusion exclusion criteria. So it's gonna read through the whole protocol, find out where exactly that information is coming from, and just take a few seconds reading through all the information in the protocol. So let's give it a few seconds. And then this is, as I mentioned, this is the protocol. It's going to read through and find all the information that it needs to. And there you go. So it has found the inclusion criteria, the exclusion criteria. And one interesting thing, which I really like, is it always tells you which source it's pulling it from. So it says section 5, page 4 to 5. So if I actually go to section 5 here, here's the section. Here's the section 5, study population, and then page 4 and page 5. So it actually tells you where it's pulling the data from, and gives a reference to it as well, which is very interesting. So moving on with our CTMS, this is a regulatory tab. This is where you can track all your regulatory submissions. We have project management. Sorry, I didn't click through it. This is the regulatory tab. We have project management, which is study level milestones, tasks. You can have study teams added, and you can track all the project management activities around this study. There is feasibility. So system has the whole feasibility process built in. You can send the feasibility surveys from the system. Sites fill them in. You analyze responses. You can filter by specific questions, filter responses, and it's pretty seamless to run the whole feasibility from the system. Projections can be tracked at study level and site level. We have site study level projections, patient enrollment projections that, again, it's tracked at the site level as well for subject enrollment, but can also roll up to the study level right here. And then as this is, you can track all your clinical sites. And as this is unified system, you can also track some of the subject information and subject visits that is, again, being tracked in EDC, but as we have unified system and we have Cloudways EDC in the same platform, the data model is shared, and CTMS can get and display real-time subject visit information as well, such as enrollment data, visit completion. All of that is synced seamlessly. So one interesting thing which I wanted to talk about, that this protocol intelligence agent does have a second life. Let me bring it back. So as we showed that it can create visit plan, it can work as a Q&A for your protocol, but it just doesn't stop there. It also act as a compliance partner. So once once your study is kickstarted and it's ongoing and subjects are enrolled, the same agent, what we saw right earlier, can also monitor compliance in real time. And let's take a look at it. So let me ask which visits are out of window. So it's not just reading protocol anymore. It's actually pulling data from which visits are out of window. Sorry, I was in the wrong window actually. So it's not just reading the protocol anymore. It's actually pulling the live data from the CTMS. So it's running visit compliance across every subject that is currently enrolled. So as you can see, it identifies that there are 8 visits out of window, 4 future out of window, 10 missed or overdue, and 113 are within window, and full picture in one line. So for each out of window visit, you get the subject ID, the site, the visit, how many days early, the actual date, and the window, and if the protocol deviation has been filed or not. So you can actually click on the subject and see the details, or you can click on the protocol deviation record and see it's been filed right from the agent itself. And the interesting thing is, for the ones that protocol deviation has not been filed, it also gives the action requirement that protocol deviation has not been filed, and please file a protocol deviation immediately. You can take this further and have this agent file protocol deviation on your behalf. Again, you have to review this and approve. So there is an approval workflow in place, but this agent can also go ahead and file protocol deviation, all of the ones that you see here, which are missing. Another interesting thing is, let me put this on, what are the scheduled out of visit, window visit for this study. This is very exciting, interesting, because these visits have actually not happened yet. They are scheduled in future, but the agent has identified that these falls out of window or allowed window. So subject, for example, 101004, V6 is scheduled 5 days too early, and agent tells the CRA to contact the site immediately and reschedule. So instead of finding out after the fact and then being reactive, this agent helps you to be proactive, and you're catching it before it happens, and which something I find very powerful. Beyond that, this protocol intelligence agent can do a lot more things. For example, it can prepare pre-visit instructions. Let's say in this case, I asked pre-visit instructions for visit 6, and it had some of the list prepared for me, which I can use. And then concomitant medication question, which I had, which I just asked this agent, and it was able to find out pretty quickly. And again, as you can see, at every answer, it tells me where exactly this is pulling from. So me, if I don't trust the agent, I can easily go to the section in page 6 and read through what exactly this concomitant medication information is. All right. So moving on, let's dig into this clinical site part of it. So the study, let's say I have 3 sites, and I'm in 101 stay inside. Now, the same consistent view that you saw for study is now the site level. So site number, which PI, and then sorry, let me go back here. So I was in the eTMF tab. Now back to CTMS. I'm on the site now. So the same view that you saw earlier in terms of the visual ribbon telling where the site is, the site number, who is the PI, all those information is now tracked at the site level. I want to cover monitoring today, so I can close this. This is where you can run all your monitoring activities for a study. So this monitoring calendar view shows your plan and confirm visit. You can create visit right from this window. Visit type, again, this could be automated. You don't have to always click a button and create a window, but this is something the system can do for you, or you can create it yourself, assign a monitor, etc. And then when the visit is actually happening, let's say in this case of IMV, CR is on site, they can open a monitoring report. They can open this report right here, and they can see the report with properly defined sections with the answers that they want to provide, capture all the structured data, and then in the end report goes through the whole approval workflow, in progress, completed, submitted, in review, approved. This is all set up in the system, and system also has 21 CFR Part 11 compliance signature to system, so report can be signed right from the system itself. And the whole monitoring process can be followed. The CRA can send a follow-up letter right from the system as well. And that all is completely tracked in the CTMS. But one of the gap which we found from talking to our prospects, let me go back actually, is one of the major tasks of CRA is preparing for the upcoming visit, which involves pulling in the last signed reports, checking every action item, reviewing new deviations, AEs, validating consent. So checking that almost takes 2 to 4 hours per site every month, every visit. And the data exists, but the challenge is assembling and analyzing them takes a lot of times. And for that, we have something called monitoring copilot agent. So let me ask this in a very human-friendly language. Prepare me for the next visit. So with just one prompt, let me expand this. This has found out that I have a IMV scheduled in July 3 to 4, which is upcoming. And it's pulling the last signed report, checking every action item, reviewing deviations, adverse event, consent versions, all in one shot. So what you see here, for example, you see it flags the consent flag, which is the highest priority. So it mentions that 2 subjects have an outdated ICF right now, which is version 1.0, and the current is 1.2. So CRA knows before walking in that these needs reconsenting. 3 deviations since last visit, 6 days outside the window, still open. It checks whether PD record exists, protocol deviation record exists, and flags the missing one. It also finds the overdue item. So IRB letter 48 days overview sitting since April. Reconsent items at 13 days. Every item has an assignee as well. As you can see, study coordinator, investigator right here. It also finds out the safety summary, a serious adverse event, cardiac arrhythmia. CRA needs to verify reporting on site. So this one prompt brings every information that might take someone like 2 to 3 hours to just dig in, find out in a traditional way to find it. Now, I can also ask as a CRA some interesting insights about this site. So, for example, show me deviation trends of this clinical site. So what it's going to do is it's going to analyze all the protocol deviation, and it's going to tell me what the trend for this site looks like. As you can see, out of visit window is a trend for the site, which is 45%. 5 out of 10 deviations are actually out of window visits. This is just a pattern that I, as a CRA, would have to discuss with the site. It also tells me lab-related deviations have been 27%, which is also a bit concerning, which something I can talk to the site. The interesting thing is it can also prepare the whole talking points. So let's prepare some talking points about this. So not just finding out, what are the changes or what are the updates from the site before visits, not just trends. It also tells me very detailed talking points, gives me example. As I'm on site, I'm talking to a site, I can bring up these examples and say that these are the issues that needs to be addressed, which gives me a lot of power when I'm conducting the monitoring visit for the site. All right, and then going forward, this can also draft a follow-up email. Let's say the visit has been completed. CRA has 10 business days for follow-up letter. Again, agent can draft it. Again, it's very important that CRA will have to approve it, but it can go ahead and approve it, and then agent can also send this follow-up letter to the respected personnel at the site. So that's about CTMS study setup, site management, monitoring, a couple of AI agents that are built to save your time every week, every month. And these are just a couple of examples. We have more agents built in, such as study startup agent, feasibility survey agent, site greenline agent, and so forth. But now taking forward the visit plan that we created to budgets and payments, let me switch to CTFM. Let me close this. As you can see, it's switching between different workstation, as we like to call it, or different apps, like from CTMS to financial module is pretty seamless. Just with just one click, I was able to now land into CTFM and see the CTFM or financial specific dashboards and reports. So here is what you see on the screen are your budget and payments and invoices specific reports. So you can see cost forecast by enrolled subjects for the upcoming quarters, cost forecast, cost projections by task for different quarters upcoming, again 27, 28, 29. Very intuitive. Budgets, a plan, all the actual costs, completed subject payments by study, completed subject payment by site. So again, this is customizable, configurable to your role, what you care about, what you want to track from the budget perspective, as reports as well. Moving to the next tab, this is the whole financial workflow that we can track from the system, or financial flow. So it goes all the way from budget, all approved budgets or in review budgets, to payment triggers, which could be a milestones getting completed, a visit getting completed, a conditional procedure getting generated, to actual payable or payment or accrual getting created. So again, we have segregated task payable, visit payable, out-of-pocket payable, conditional procedure payables, which then can be converted into a invoice or a payment package, and then which again can be integrated with a payment system or ERP system to track the status of payment. And we have a whole reconciliation dashboard built out as well to find out like what's the actual system payment versus what's the amount invoiced by site from a sponsor or CRO perspective. Now, heading into the same study we were talking about earlier, RCT. So again, in the CTFM side, now again, this clinical study is shared. So you would see all the information that you saw on the CTMS, and the only change here is the financial tab, which is now showing up for as we are in the CTFM, which is financial module of our Cloudbase. Within that, you would see the study contracts, all the budgets, which is study budget and site budgets rolled up to the study as well. All the payables for the study level. Again, this is rolling up from all the sites within this as well. All the invoices, expenses, out-of-pocket expenses, etc. I'm going to head to a site, 10 Cato, and then show you some of the site-specific budgets now. Again, this is site view, as I spoke about, that we keep the consistent experience. So what you see at study, which is study level now, when you drill down to a site, you would see similar experience, but now data is site-specific. Within that, you see the financial subtabs. So again, site contracts, you see the two site budgets. One is inactive, one is approved, which is active. And then invoices and payables. Now let me open a site budget quickly and open the budget wizard. When the subject cost, now the visit plan that we built earlier will be again pulled into the site budgets and subject cost. This is where you can actually define your cost per unit for each procedures. So as I was talking about earlier, that it's so imperative that that visit plan is built accurately, so that this subject cost and so forth, EDC, CRFs are all accurately built out downstream. And just wanted to call back on what we were talking about earlier about the visit plan in this case. Now, one of the questions that I could have right now is, let's say I'm on the site and I want to find out how many invoices were actually paid out for the site. And I do have a list which I can go through, but instead of going through a list, I can bring in our financial assistant. Let me bring it up, which is called CTFM Financial Assistant. And I can ask for site 10 Cato, how many invoices have been paid out. Again, I can ask this anywhere. I don't have to come to the site to find out this information. But instead of, again, as I mentioned, drilling into this list, I can just ask my agent, and now agent tells me this 8 invoices has been paid out and total amount has been this. It also gives me link to all invoices. So I can actually click and see through the invoices and see what's actually happening. And as I can see, it's actually been paid out. This is not just a pure chatbot. I can also ask it any concerns. So let me ask this. Are there any concerns with the invoices? So what this does is that it's now flagging the aging concerns. For example, it tells me that these have been in draft for over 90 days, which is obviously an aging concerns of the invoice. It also tells me what are the rejected invoices, already approved for payment but has not been moved after certain times. So again, it tells me there are 4 draft invoices older than 90 days. This should be reviewed and submitted promptly. And then it can also then form an email or like a message that I can send to my finance team or the site team to find out what's happening. So this is something which can query into your existing data. Now, let's take a scenario where amendment has happened and a new budget gets created. And in this case, you see 2 budgets that are created. So let me ask agent to compare them. So compare budget versions for site 10 Cato. So what I'm going to do is, since there has been an amendment, let's say, for example, and there has been 2 budgets, I want to find out what's changed and what's the difference between 2 budgets. And when I asked this agent to compare the budget versions, it actually found out there's 2 budget. One is inactive, one is approved, as we see here. And it actually tells me that the total cost increase has been approximately 642%. The direct cost increase to this, there has been 5% increase in version 2. It tells me all the insights and also indicates that there has likely been an amendment. And this is where I can actually get more insights about this budget from this financial assistant as well. Moving on, as I was talking about that this whole data model is shared, EDC is in the same platform, so all the subject information and subject visits are also captured, which is very important for CTFM to generate payments from. So let's pick up a subject example here. Let's pick up the subject 016. So this is CTFM. You would see subject visits, procedures, etc. But the data from this is coming from Cloud-based EDC. So as the subject visits gets completed or marked as completed in the EDC, CTFM gets to know it right away in real time, and it goes ahead and generate payables based on the completed visit and procedures. Again, this is coming from the site subject cost I just showed you a few minutes back, and it is able to pull all the visits, procedures, and generate these payables. If I click through one of the payables, you can see everything is intact in terms of which study it's coming from, which site, which visit name, which budget, which line item. All of that is intact, so referential integrity is maintained. Now, the next step would be to convert these payables into invoices. I can do it right from this window, each one, or I can go to my home screen and go back to my financial work list and mark multiple payables and create a payment package out of it, or you can call it invoice out of it. I already have a bunch of invoices created. So again, invoices go through different stages. This is in the draft stage, so I can open, let's say, this one. This invoice is a draft stage, but again, it goes through the whole life cycle of multiple steps. So approval, site invoice received, and let's take at this stage. Let's say this is an invoice 096. This invoice has 8 line items, which the system generated. Now, as a sponsor or CRO, this is the line item and the amount that the system has told me, which is accurate. Now, let's take a scenario where a site sends you back an invoice based on their own calculations. It's a normal process. You open that invoice, you open your Excel, you open the contract, you compare line by line. It takes you 1 to 2 hours per invoice. And imagine when you have dozens of invoices coming in. And let me actually upload something which site gave to me. Let me upload this invoice. So in this case, this invoice has come through from the site. Again, you probably don't have to upload this in the real world. Sometimes it could actually just show up in the system, that site would have sent you. Now, normally I would click on this invoice, and as I was showing, read through each line item and then check with what the budget says, the system, says. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have our AI agent handle the reconciliation part. So I'm going to call our AI agent right here, which is called Invoice Assistant. And first thing I'm going to do, and as you can see, the amount invoiced by site is blank here. There's no rack status, so I don't know what exactly site has invoiced us. So first thing is I'm going to extract data from the attached invoice. So it's going to go in. match the specific line item name, match with different items within the invoice, and it has extracted these 8 items from the attached PDF which I just put in. Now what I can do is I can just say update the database, or any language works here actually. So what it's going to do is now it's going to actually match with each of these line item and match the amount. Now I can see, and if I quickly open up, you can see the amount is 2100 right here, but it's 615. What as a system CRO or sponsor, I know it's 615, but site invoiced 21100. So it's clearly a discrepancy right here. And then once the system is completed, all I have to do is just refresh, and then you can see the amount now has been updated by this agent. So you can clearly, let me close this. You can clearly see, as I was talking about, that the amount by site is 2100, but it's as a CRO sponsor is 615, and the rack status is red. And in the other scenario, I have an amount as a sponsor CRO which is 825, but the rack status or the site invoice is 615, which is yellow, which means the site has invoiced less. So again, this is just one invoice, but in real world, a site might send multiple invoices, multiple subjects, hundreds of line items. The agent handles all of that. The finance manager just need to come here, look at the red and ambers of the rack status here. And actually, I was showing this reconciliation dashboard earlier, where all you need to do is you can just review all the red or ambers and then work on the discrepancy payments scenarios. So again, just a key point to call back, the budget is checking from the same visit plan we created in the Act 1. It's all connected and all downstream impact that we're seeing right now. So that's CTFM budgets built from the visit plan, automated payment generation, and two AI agents that we saw. One is your financial assistant, which can give you all the insights. Other one is reconciliation agent, which can actually extract from any invoices. It could be PDF, Excel, whatever format, and match with the line item within the system. Or if it does not match, it can suggest and then give you what the site has invoiced versus what your system says, which is generated from our CTFM, and give you the whole reconciliation picture. I'm going to move to our eTMF system. Again, as I keep emphasizing, as you can see, it's so easy to switch between different workstations within the system. Again, the same data model, the clinical study is shared, site is shared, the access is maintained, which means not everyone can access all the three systems, all the three studies, as I mentioned earlier. Again, the reports now is defined as per eTMF specific items, missing documents, study status of study documents by site, empty eTMF folders. You can pretty much track anything you would want to track with your TMF. I'm going to quickly click into the eTMF tab. Now, every study that I created within CTMS or CTFM also creates a root folder here. So here's the RCT study that we're working on, or any other study like cardiac arrest study. Now, as I click to the study, you would see, let me expand this. You would see the dashboard getting updated. So it tells me there's been 444 files, 18 expired. There are 253 placeholders. I can actually click on the expired documents and see which documents were expired as well. I'm going to talk about an interesting scenario. So this is an holding area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a file, which is FDA 1572. And it's going to put in the holding area. And if you notice, it's going to show up here. And let me expand the document. And as you can see, the metadata is still not filled in. And as you notice, the expiry date is blank as well. So let's say I'm interested to find out what the expiry date of this document is. One way is obviously I can go in the document and try to find it. This is a smaller document, so it might be easier to figure out. But in case of larger documents, in case of protocol, as we saw, some of the informations might be not so easy to find. So let's call our eTMF assistant here and ask, and can you extract the expiration date from this document? So it's reading a document, trying to find the detail information I've asked for, and it just takes a few seconds to read through all the fields and all the details. And it has found that the 30 September 26 is the expiration date. And it also proactively tells me if I would like to update the record with this data. Now, this is very important because this is where the audit trail part comes in. As I was talking about, that my action here will be tracked, will be logged. So in terms of compliance, this is a very important step which has to be followed. So when I confirm, it will go ahead and update this expiry date, and it's been updated. I just need to refresh this page, and there it is. The expiry date is updated. The next thing which I am probably wondering here is, where does this document actually sit? So right now, this study which I have uploaded this document in within the holding area follows the DIA structure. And either one way is that I go into each document and try to find out where this needs to be filed, or I can ask my AI agent if this is filed correctly. And now it's gonna check the DI reference model, identify that this is a form FTA 1572 statement of investigator, and tells me exactly where it should be filed. So it tells me, no, this is not filed correctly. This is going to be located in the holding area based on the DI eTMF reference. This 505020 form FTA is the correct location. And it asks me if I would, I would like to move this to that location. And either I can move it or I can ask agent, yes, move the file. So now it's gone. It always has human in the loop. It makes sure that I know that where it's being moved. And again, this important step of confirming is very imperative, especially for compliance perspective. Once I confirm, the file has now been moved to the correct location. And right now it's in holding area. Let me refresh. And as you can see now, it's been moved to the right TMF folder structure 05 or 0208 form FTA 1572. So every action, as you saw across all our AI agents, it always asks before it moves or takes any action. Human in the loop is always present, and this agent learns every time a user confirms that this is the right folder or this is not the right folder. It gets smarter. So over time, it gets more accurate for your specific TMF structure. So that brings me to the end of this webinar demo, and we have barely scratched the surface today. We just wanted to show you some real scenarios where this AI agent can really add value to your workflows. All of these agents are fully configurable, so this is not set in stones. This can be configured for each of your use cases, each of your scenarios. And for example, your TM, if you have custom TMF structure, it can also learn from that as well. But as you saw today, a protocol PDF turned into a complete visit plan in seconds. That visit plan was feeding directly into budget without any rekeying needed. CRA was getting a full pre-visit briefing from one prompt. Finance manager for getting all the answers and comparisons in natural language, and invoice reconciled automatically with discrepancy flagged, and a document read, classified, and filed with a full audit trail. So these were 5 agents. Again, as I said, we have many more agents working in the system, but we wanted to show you some of the examples of how 5 agents on one platform, one data model can act seamlessly together. And every actions, as you saw, was with human confirmation. And all of that in the end helps you to save manual hours and help your team be more efficient. So let's head for Q&A. Pooja, do you want me to stop sharing or?
Yes. But thank you so much, Ved and Chris. There was Ved, especially like I think it was quite a detailed demo, but still I know you kind of covered through a lot of different products today. But thank you so much for that. Now moving on to the Q&A section, we have 2 questions that have come into our session. So I'll just read it out first. So going back to the monitor scheduling, is the expectation that the monitor would be actively working in the system and keeping up with all the schedules? And then could the monitor schedule their visit with the site via the platform, or could the platform work with their emails to auto schedule? There are a couple of sections in that question, but Wade, would you want to take this, or Chris, would you
Yeah,
want?
I can take this. The monitor can work actively with the system and keep up with the schedule. I mean, that's a choice that we can provide. I mean, I would love to understand the alternative option that you have on your mind here. So please feel free to reach out, and we can. I mean, fine tune it as per your workflow. In terms of can monitors schedule their visit with the site via platform? Yes, I think that's what we showed, that system can automatically do it, let's say for IMVs on a certain time frame, or the monitor can actually click on create site visit and create that visit from the system, or in fact ask the agent as well to create a site visit, as we saw earlier. Could the platform work with our email to auto schedule? Yes, but something we have to explore more. Again, we can integrate with Outlook or any other email services and can function with that, but that's something we have to explore more based on your specific use case.
Thanks so much, Ved. The second one was, are the cloud-based assistants, do they come one-on-one for each platform? How does it work?
Yes. So cloud-based assistant I was showing you CTMS and then two agents within that, CTFM and the two agents within that, and the eTMF one agent. So it does come for each platform. You don't have to, you don't have to see eTMF agent for CTFM, for example. So yes, it can come for each platform, but it can also be all together for all the platforms, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much. And we have just 5 more minutes. We are still taking more questions. So while we wait for more questions to come in from the attendees, Chris and Wade, just based on your interactions, with the market, with people at the events, like what are some common queries and patterns that you've come across? If you could share with us today.
Christopher, I don't know if you have something on your mind.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain either. I would say I think, having a unified solution as a whole is a little new and exciting. And just having the interconnection built on AI is really a large, um, offers a lot of potential. I feel like we've gotten a lot of feedback from clients on new options, expanding features, things like that. So I feel like this is like such a growing area that, feedback is a big part of it too. That's exciting for building out these agents and bringing them more and more to what we actually need in the field, and having, getting their getting feedback.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I think one of the big questions is always security and compliance. As you saw, we were dealing with subject visits, subject data. So I think that's one of the questions we always get, is how do we maintain that, to trust, compliance, and that's something we as I mentioned, we have a lot more talk on that. But we make sure that it's all compliant, it's following the guidelines, ICH E6 and 21 CFR Part 11 compliance guidelines, and there's no data which is going out and being trained on. There are guardrails in place, there's trust layer in place. So these are some of the questions we always get, especially when it comes to AI, and especially items such as subject visits and subject data.
Understood. Okay. We do not have more questions. However, I would leave this question with all the attendees today. So if you would like to have a one-on-one session with our speakers, say our post-webinar, next week, we can, set up another follow-up, one-on-one session calls with the speakers. Do send us an email or drop in a note in the chat, and we'll get you onto that call. But on that note, I think we could wrap up today's session. And I want to say a huge, huge thank you, both to you, Ved and Chris, and to all who could attend today. Thank you so much for your time and for your questions today, everybody. And if you want to go deeper, explore the platform, see it applied in your workflows, or just have a conversation, you can always reach out to us at info@cloudbase.com, or you could visit our site cloudbase.com to book a demo or reach out to the team. We would love to connect with you. The recording of today's session will be in your inboxes tomorrow, and we'll be posting this on our website shortly. You could feel free to share it with anyone on your team who would think this would be useful. Until next time, thank you so much, and I hope you have the good rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you, guys.